Group Roundtable with partner Jesse Brown, VA Works. May is Mental Health Awareness and also Asian American Heritage Month. And of course, I'm the host, Cliff Kelly. Our executive producer is Glenda Smith. Our digital media producer is Manny Corazari, and our assistant media producer is Titus Williams. And today we are going to be talking about a number of issues, and we have some of our guests calling in now. We have Dr. Colleen Kagan calling, a psychologist and local recovery coordinator at Jesse Brown VA. How are you, Doc?
Hi, good. Thank you so much for having me on.
So happy to have you. Our discussion today is suicide prevention and mental health awareness. We also have with us Stephanie Handcock, who is a suicide prevention coordinator that serves Jesse Brown and its community outpatient clinics. Ms. Hancock, how are you today?
I'm very good. Thanks so much for having us.
It's a great thing to have you. We need you, obviously. Also, Chanda Johnson, U.S. Army veteran and Jesse Brown Public Affairs Officer with over 18 years of combined VA experience. How are you today, Ms. Johnson?
Hi, Cliff. How are you doing today?
Good. Glad to have the three of you ladies. The suicide prevention and mental health awareness. Who wants to start us off on that?
We'll start off with Dr. Kagan. I know
Okay.
For Mental Health Month, they have a lot of things going on. We should always be thinking about our mental health, but May, we really want to push keeping it top of mind and making sure that you're making your mental health a priority. So, because sometimes we get busy, we forget about it. We have to take times for ourselves, but I'll turn it over to Dr. Kagan to explain more about that.
Okay. Doctor, go right ahead.
Thank you. Yes, so May is Mental Health Month, and although Ms. Johnson was right that we should be taking and paying attention to our mental health at all times, this month is an opportunity for us to provide education on our mental health services, to help combat stigma around mental health, and to promote hope and recovery. And those are the big important points we want to do throughout the month of May, is let people know that if you're dealing with mental health issues, you're not alone, and that we have wonderful services and people, veterans who've gone through it and can be there to support you.
It's very important to understand when you really need help. Some folks don't even recognize the fact that they do need help. Is that right?
Absolutely. Sometimes we think that we're the only person who's experiencing these struggles, and so we might not want to talk about it, or we might not be sure what we're dealing with. So the good thing is the VA is here to help. We have a lot of different mental health programs and services. We have peer support groups where you can connect with other veterans. And there's also some other great resources. So whether you're a veteran or maybe you have a loved one that's a veteran and you want to get some more information or help them, maketheconnection.net is a really great website resource. And right now during May, they have a lot of things going on in which veterans and other people can hear stories of recovery and watch videos of other veterans who have been through mental health care, and connect you with resources in your area. At Jesse Brown, we're doing things virtually as well. We have some newsletters that are going out. We're also posting on our social media to help get the message out there.
That's so important, and I want everyone to recognize with these three great guests that we have. Our call-in number, if you want to say something or ask a question, is 312-374-8130. 312-374-8130. And we're pleased to have these great guests with us. What else do we need to know about, Stephanie?
Well, I just want to highlight what Dr. Kagan had mentioned, the aspect of how important hope and recovery is at this time. Right now, with everything being so uncertain in our world, having that sense of hope and knowing that, we are going to get through this is so important. And reaching out to those people that we find support with, whether they're in our family, friends, people we served with in the military, or mental health providers, reaching out just to make sure that we're all getting the extra care that we need, and especially to be aware of our mental health as we're all facing some new challenges right now.
Right now, that's a good point that you just mentioned. Right now is correct. Why is that? Any of you ladies can respond to that. You know what I'm talking about, obviously.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I'd like to highlight is...
Who is this? Identify.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is Stephanie Handcock again from
Go right
Suicide
ahead.
Prevention.
Yeah. Thank you.
Just wanted to point out that when we're looking at risk factors for people that might be at a higher risk for suicide, some of the things that we're looking at could be increased isolation. We could be looking at financial stress, recent loss, and chronic illness or chronic pain. And a lot of those things that I just mentioned are things that we're all experiencing on a new level in some way, where social distancing can take the form of feeling more isolated, whether physically or emotionally. And that is something that can, if untreated or if we don't address it, could be an additional risk factor for a mental health crisis or potentially thoughts of suicide. So with the isolation that a lot of us are feeling, financial stress, if the current pandemic has affected your ability to work or to have wages, those are stressors that are new or being worsened, unfortunately, by how we are currently trying to recover as a country from this pandemic. And so those are things that we just want to pay extra attention to, how those stressors are impacting our mental health and giving ourselves the extra care that we might need in order to get through this. And that can be leaning on our support network, like I had mentioned, or Dr. Kagan had also mentioned online resources such as Make the Connection. There's also the Veterans Crisis Line that I wanted to highlight, which is, of course, a 24-hour hotline for individuals that are experiencing a mental health crisis. It's primarily for veterans, but it's also for family members of veterans or active duty military service members. So that number is, of course, 1-800-273-8255, and you'll press 1 at the prompt to reach the Veterans Crisis Line, or they can also be texted at 838-255, or there's an online chat mechanism on their website, which is veteranscrisisline.net. And that way you'd be able to connect with them, whichever platform is easiest for you to be able to get that support that you might need.
That's a great thing. I hope a lot of people know about that, the Veterans Crisis Line. I
hope so, too.
Yeah.
This is Chanda. I had two questions, one for you, Stephanie, and then the second one would be for Dr. Kagan. But Stephanie, so are the lines like 24 hours when they go to reach out? Can they reach this crisis line like anytime?
Absolutely. It is a 24-hour, 7 days a week, 365 resource. So they are always available to answer a call for somebody who's in crisis or somebody who might be calling because they're worried about a loved one. So they'll be able to reach a mental health clinician anytime, day or night. And once that call is completed, so if that person feels that their needs have been met, maybe they woke up with a nightmare, needed to speak with someone, called the crisis line. After that call, they felt better, they were able to go back to sleep. The local VA from where that caller was will get a consult. So that's part of what our team does in the suicide prevention program. We respond to consults from the Veterans Crisis Line within 24 business hours to help link that veteran with specific local resources either from our VA facility or in the community, depending on what it is that that caller was needing at that time with that mental health crisis.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And for Dr. Kagan, my question for you is, because my heart sort of breaks. I've been seeing the recent stories about the uptick in domestic violence just because there are stay-at-home orders, and really they have nowhere to go. So they have to stay in a home, and they have to take it. And I've seen the pictures of the bruises and the faces. But someone in that situation that's a veteran, how can they reach out, or what are some of the resources for them?
Yeah, absolutely. The VA has a specific program called the Intimate Partner Violence, or IPV program, and we have an IPV coordinator named Misa Lopez. And so the VA is very aware that domestic violence issues might be increasing right now during the pandemic because of people having to stay at home. And we want people to know that services are still available. You can call the VA and ask for Misa Lopez to get connected to specific resources, or you can just call the VA to get connected to mental health resources, even if it's not specifically about domestic violence. One of the phone numbers that you can call, if you are not already connected with mental health services, you can call our psychiatric assessment clinic at 312-569-6269. Or if you've already been connected with mental health services, or you're trying to reach Misa Lopez, you can call 312-569-7225. Again, that's 312-569-7225, and that's our mental health customer care line. And they'll be able to connect a veteran with a mental health provider. So what we can offer is still all of our mental health services are still running. Even though this pandemic is going on, even if you can't leave your home, or even if you feel uncomfortable with coming into the VA, we are providing all of our therapy, all of our mental health services virtually. So we can provide appointments with therapists through telephone or through video, which is referred to as VA Video Connect, or VVC. You can meet with your psychiatrist for medication management. We have group therapies over telephone or video. We have all of our mental health services available. And again, if you're in a crisis, you can also, again, call the Veterans Crisis Line, call 911, or come into our ER. And we want people to know that just because there's a stay-at-home order and the pandemic happening doesn't mean you can't get help during this time. So please reach out.
That is so important, what you just said, the stay-at-home order. That's not applicable here, is it, with the problems you're talking about?
Absolutely. We want everyone to stay safe.
Sure.
And the VA can help with that. And so if you feel stuck and you need help, reach out. Don't hesitate. We're here to help you and to serve you.
That's so important. WVON call-in number is 312-374-8130. This is America's Heroes Group. You can get, obviously, you hear it right now, just some great information for those who really need help. And you've got three folks on the line that are experts, and it's just great, the information that they have put out, and we just love them for doing it. Ladies, we've got a couple of minutes left. Somebody say something. Yeah.
Dr. Kagan, I did have one more question. This is Chanda.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, sure, please.
you are a veteran and a veteran patient, and you want to get in touch with your mental health provider. Do I have to first go through my primary care provider, or can I go direct schedule with mental health? How does that work?
Yeah, so We actually have a lot of different options. So you can go through your medical or primary care provider. Let's say that you already have an appointment scheduled with them. You can bring it up in your appointment with them, and they can get you connected or refer you. You can also, if you haven't been connected, like you've never had mental health services at the VA before, you can call, again, our psychiatric assessment clinic, and that's the 312-569-6269 number. Or like you said, if you're a veteran who maybe already has a mental health provider but just wants to get in contact with them, you can call the customer care line at 312-569-7225 so that we can get you connected with your provider or scheduling appointments. So you can go through primary care, but you can also do it yourself as well.
Excellent.
So there really is no reason, if you need help, not to get it. That sounds like...
That's correct.
Yeah, because you folks have really put out the information that's needed to help everybody, which is so important.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have, all of our mental health services, as Stephanie can attest to, are what we refer to as multidisciplinary. And so we work as a team, and we're going to have medical providers and mental health providers and peer support specialists and social workers, everyone working together as a team to help make sure that you are getting the care you need. And I want to leave time for anyone else, but I do want to say that one of the big things we're proud of at Jessie Brown is our peer support specialists.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have veterans who have been through their own mental health recovery process that work with veterans. And so you can talk veteran to veteran. And so if you aren't comfortable with talking with a provider, we have veterans that can talk with you.
You ladies are just great information. And where it's appropriate, happy Mother's Day to you.